Hello, in this video I will show you how to use the ultimate cash flow dashboard template that I sell on Etsy and also on my website. So if you're interested, check out the link in the description. So I built this template mainly for users to enter their cash coming in and cash going out in the ledger, and then it automatically built the cash flow statement for them. So it will build the current year cash flow statement and prior year statement, and also have various comparative templates as well, and also it has two comprehensive dashboards. So if you're interested, check it out. So what we'll do is we'll go over each of the tab, and then I'll show you how to do one example so you can see how the information flow from the ledger to the financial statement. And then I'll show you an example of a mock-up version that I do so you can see how all the numbers flow. Okay. So if you purchase this template, you will have 10 tabs. So the very first tab is the description setup tab. So this is where you should spend your time first when you get the template. So as you can see here, you can enter in your company name, and that information will automatically populate to the financial statement. And then here you can update any description on this cash flow statement according to your needs. So some of this are already filled out, but if you need something, more unique to your business, then you can update it, right? And just a note that this template here only works within the bounds of this setup here. So any cell that is yellow here, you can update, but if you need if you have more description, please reach out to me and I can help you customize it to meet your business needs. Okay, so this is where we do the setup, and then the next tab is the inflow ledger tab. So this is where you enter in all your cash coming in. You can enter in by the date or the month. Okay, and then all this information will automatically flow to the cash flow statement. And next tab is the outflow ledger. So this is where you enter in all your cash going out the door, right? All your expenses, and this will also automatically flow to the financial statement. So the next tab here is the current year cash flow statement. So basically, after you enter in all your inflow and outflow, this tab here would automatically pull the data into a cash flow statement for you by the month, the quarter, and then ultimately by the year to date, right? So you can see here, you can pick any year you want. So let's say we want to work in 2026, right? So you pick 2026, you can see here the month or the year, the month and the year also change with it, right? And then you, like some businesses, they start in June. So if they start in June, you can pick June as a starting month that you start. So start in June 2026, all right? So it's very versatile. So I'll put it back for January, and then we'll work on 2025. Again, so here in this yellow cell here, this is where you input in your beginning cash balance for the very first month, if you know what that is. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. But everything else here should automatically pull the data from the inflow and outflow ledger to build this financial. So you should not be, making changes to any of these cells except for this yellow cell here. Okay, and this is a prior year statement. This is the next tab. So pretty much like any year that you pick, right? You pick 2025 here, you can see it just subtract 1 year, and then it'll start the same month as what you picked here. So that if you put in data for 2024, right, it'll pick those numbers up as well, and then it'll build the financial statement for you over here. So then you have current year financial and then prior year financial. And then this is the comparative cash flow statement. So pretty much here you can compare any month you want, any month, quarter, an annual year information from the current year to the previous year, right? Or any year you want here, or any month. And then it will tell you what the dollar change and percentage change between those 2 year, 2 month, or 2 quarter is. Okay. And then the year-to-date comparison is just similar. It just has the cash flow statement layout, and then here you can just pick what year-to-date you want. So for example, if I pick February 2025 year-to-date, basically it just adding up the January to February data, right? And then you can compare to last year's February year-to-date. So just picking up all the January number through February number, so you can see cumulative. What is the difference between February 2025 year to date and February 2024 year to date? It'll tell you the dollar change and percentage change. So that's the difference between these two. So this one you can pick any month, any quarter, any year to date. But here it's cumulative, right? So it's year to date data. All right. And then this daily cash flow here. So here you can see your daily and weekly cash flow balance. So what you need to do is you can pick any month or any year you want here, any month. So let's say we pick February, and you can pick any starting date. So if you want to start Monday, see it changes Monday, right? Sunday, it changes Sunday as well. Here you can pick any week you want in that month, right? So you want to pick week 2. This is the dates for week 2, right? So you can see as you pick these week here, it changes, and this here matches. So you see the weekdays 216 to 222. You see 216 to 22. Okay. If you change this back to Monday, it will also match up. Okay. And again, here in this yellow cell, you can enter your beginning cash balance for that very first date, or that very first date, and then everything else should populate. Okay. And then the next is a comparative daily cash flow. So this drop down menu matches what you have up here. So you compare any 2 dates you want. So, you compare any 2 dates, right? If you have data for those 2 dates, you can compare them. And then you can just pick from this drop down here any 2 dates, and it'll tell you dollar change and percentage change. And then the daily weekly dashboard. So a very similar concept. You pick any year you want, any month, and then any start date, and then any week. And then if you have data that you've entered for that week, this dashboard here should auto-populate information for you to see the data visually. And then the comprehensive dashboard is the last tab here. So here you can pick any month, quarter, year to date for the current year. And if you have data for that selection that you picked, then the data will auto-populate and you can see the data visually. All right. So that's pretty much all the tabs. So let's go through an example. So here you can change your company name. So let's say if you put ABC Company, right? You can see here you put ABC Company. You go to cash flow statement, it will change up here to the name ABC Company, and also up here, right? On all the financial, it should update. So here is the product sales, right? You don't have product sales, you have, if you just have revenue, something. I just want to show you, if you make a change here, it will change in the financial. So if I change this to revenue, you're going to see here, it's going to change to revenue as well, right? So whatever description that you change here, so basically the description here you can change here. Once you make this change, everything else should change with it on all the financial. So here change the revenue, and here change the revenue, and then also on all these other tabs and financial statement also changes as well. Okay, so that's how you would make the change in description if you need to make changes. Okay, so let's put this back. We'll put product. Oops, spelled product wrong. Product revenue. Okay, so you put product revenue, it will change again back to product revenue, so you can see, right? All right, so this is like a central location for you to update all your description for your business, and it should flow to the financial statement. So one other thing I want to mention is when you change the description, make sure all the description are unique, because the formula in this template, it picks up data by the uniqueness of the name. Okay, so you put 2 names that's similar, it doesn't know which one to pick up. So just make sure they're unique. If you need to have the same thing twice, just differentiate it by a number or something that makes it unique. Okay. All right, so if we're happy with this, then we can go to the inflow ledger and start inputting our data. Okay, so I will just put in input data, right? So you can put a transaction by the date here. So as you put in a date here, it will tell you what the month and year, so it automatically populates. So just here you can just input data in the white cell. The gray cell, it will automatically populate. And then so let's say here, let's say on 1/1/2025, I had some product sales. Oops, let's see what's going on here. Oh, sorry, no, what's wrong there? But so let's say if I pick product sales or product revenue, you can see here it says that this is the operating activity category. So notice when we have here operating activity, we're putting in the operating activity category, right? So that's why it knows right away that we're putting this in the operating activity. And here you can put any description you want. So let's say I got $5,000 in revenue. And then here you can put any description you want as well. So I want to add more. So you can keep adding as you need, right? We can input in the same date as you want. So let's say I have service revenue next day. So I have $10,000. right? And then you can also do same day again. Oops, make sure the dates are correct, right? And then let's see, I want to show you when you pick up something else. So let's say you pick cash receipts from investment return, it automatically knows it's investing activity. So you can see your cash receipts from investment returns right here. So this here it falls under investing activity. So that's why it automatically knows that this is investing activity, right? So this is money coming into us. So let's say we get another $65,000, okay? And you can put any notes or comments you want here. So just a reminder, this is all should be your inflow coming in, okay? And then the outflow ledger is like money going out, right? So here, in January, I also have some expenses. And then here I can pick, okay, what are the expenses that I paid for, right? Let's say this is for cost of goods sold. So then if you look on material and supplies, this is also operating activity because material and supply, we put in operating activity, right? So that's why it knows right away. Then put any description you want. Let's say the amount is, I don't know, $2,500. Right here, you can put any notes and description you want, and you can keep adding, okay? As much as you want here, and you can just keep picking. You can pick the same thing you want too, all right? Or you go to the next date, 1/2/2025, right? And then we can pick something else so you can see if I do this, like if the owner makes some withdrawal from the bank statement or something, right? Let's say they make a $5,000 withdrawal because they need to pay themselves. So you can put in that amount as well, and it knows it's financing activity because right here, owner's withdrawal is part of financing activity, right? So please note that I did not make this negative, even I know that it's cash going out. So the template will take care of it. So you can just input in all your information as a positive, okay? All right, so I think I'm good there. And then current year cash flow statement. So as you can see right here, it's populating the data because we've entered in data just for January, right? And then if I have a beginning cash balance, so I know like what is the beginning cash balance for January. Let's say I have $1,000 in the bank at that time, so it automatically updates for me, right? So this is correct because we input in $5,000 for product revenue, and then 10,000 for service revenue, and then 65,000 for this investment here. So you can see it automatically populate the data for you as you input in the information, right? So we put in 3,500 as outflow. It also populate here into the outflow section of the cash flow statement, okay? And then if you go to the prior year statement, you're not going to get anything here, mainly because we didn't enter any data. So let's say we come back here and enter some data for 2024, okay? So let's do something here. Let's say 4,000. So I just want to show you an example. Okay, so we'll do here. Okay, so we'll do labor is 1,000. So here it should populate to the prior year. So you can see here, this is the prior year tab here, and you can see, right, as you enter in service revenue 4,000, and then we enter in an amount for labor. So you can see here, it automatically pull it. So it's pulling by the date, right? So it's very neat. So whatever month and year that you input in the data, it will automatically pull that to the financial statement. It'll build it for you. So again, I'm not going to fill everything because that's going to take a lot of time. But if you're working on this little by little, eventually, right, as you get through all the years and all the months, this whole thing will auto populate for that whole entire year. Okay, and again, this yellow cell here, if you know what your beginning balance is, you can input that data in. Let's say if you have $500 beginning of January 2021, you can put that there and automatically add up, right? All right, so the comparative cash flow statement here, after you have everything filled out, you do all the hard work already, you come here and you can pick any month that you want, right? So we enter in data for, let's say January, right? And then we compare it to previous January. So you can see here, that's why there's these data that populate up here. But let's say you pick February, there's nothing, right? There's nothing here. And then there you pick February, it's nothing here, right? You have a beginning balance and cash end balance because whatever balance you put here, it just cumulative, right? That's why you have those balances. But in the heart of the statement, with the cash receipts and cash going out, you're not going to have any balance because you didn't put any of that input any of that amount, right? So that's why on the comparative, you have the beginning and cash available at month end, but you're not going to have anything here because you haven't input it. All right. Year-to-date cash flow comparison. So this one here, you just pick January, it'll just show you the data for January, right? So you pick February, it's still going to be the same because January we input in data, and then February we didn't input in anything at all. So it's just cumulative from January to February. It should be the same amount. So you can see here it has not changed, right? 5,000 February. But let's say we put in something else for February. You should see that that number changes because it's cumulative from January to February. So let's say we put in another $1,000 here. So you should see that product revenue would be about 6,000. Let's see right there. See, it's 6,000 because we put in, what is this, product revenue for January, 1,000, and then for February is one more thousand. Excuse me. So then you can see here 6,000, right? So this is year-to-date comparison. So that's why your product revenue is adding up from January to February. So you have 6,000. So similar idea, if you input more data for February 2024, it will automatically add up that data, right? And you can compare between the two year-to-date. All right, the daily cash flow. So here, remember we just put in the data for January. So you go to January, all right? And I think we put in for week 1. So week 1 is from 12/30/2024 to 1/5/2025. So as you can see here, we put in product revenue on 1/1. So you can see that's why the data is populating, right? So we didn't put in anything down here, so that's why it's not populating, but we did input in for 1/1 and 1/2, so that's why you have this here. So as you put in more information, this will populate as you put in more information, right? Because here I'm just showing you an example, and I only gave you an example of 1 or 2 examples, so that's why you can see the data here is so little, right? Only 2 examples. All right, so that's how it works. So here again, you just pick any month, any year, month, start date, and week you want, and then you can put in any beginning balance, beginning balance for that very first date of the week, then you can input that here, and it should automatically update, right? Okay. Then next one is the comparative cash flow. So again, whatever week date that you pick here, it will be part of the drop-down menu here, right? So we pick 1/1, and then you can compare that to 1/2, right? Then you can see, okay, what are the changes between the 2 dates? Did you do better or did you do worse? All right. And then the daily, weekly cash flow. Again, here you can pick any year, month. So we pick for January. Let's say we want start date Sunday. And here, as you pick this information, it will give you all this data, right? As you have data, it will populate here. Okay, and then this is a comprehensive dashboard here. So if you pick any month and any year-to-date quarter that you want, so here you can pick January because we input in data for January. So as you pick January, right, you can see it populates, right? So that's pretty much how the information flow in this template. And then let me show you one that I've already have everything completely filled out, like mocked up. So you can see here, this is a mock-up that I built. So I enter in a lot of data here, but I entered in for 2030 and 2029, right? Same thing, 2030 and 2029. And then here you can see as I enter in data, it will automatically populate, right? And in prior year, same thing, it will automatically populate. And comparative as well, you can pick any month you want, any 2 months you want, and it should give you the dollar change and percentage change. Year-to-date comparison as well, you can pick between any 2 month year-to-date. So here I pick May. Let's say if I pick March, right, and then also March of last year, so it's just comparing the data again. And then here is the daily cash flow, where I can pick any again year, month, start date, right, I want, and then it should auto populate the data for me. And then comparative cash flow, again, I can just pick any week date that I picked over on this tab, right? It'll be part of drop down menu. So this date here will be part of the drop down menu here, right? So I can pick any date I want and it'll do a comparison for me. Right, maybe do this 128 and then 129. See what the difference is. Okay, and then the weekly dashboard again, you know, if you have data, you can pick whatever you want up here, and then if there's data there, it will auto-populate and show you the data visually. Same thing with the comprehensive dashboard, right? You know, it just shows you data right there. Okay, so I hope that this you know, video is helpful, but if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me on my website or on Etsy. And I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much.